Everyone thinks Apple TV 4K is just a streaming box until Apple drops one upgrade that changes the entire living room forever. And that's exactly why the Apple TV 4K 2026 is quietly becoming Apple's most underrated upcoming product. Because it's not trying to be a Roku killer, it's trying to become the brain of your whole entertainment setup. Today, I'm going to break down the most exciting Apple TV 4K 2026 leaks, what Apple is reportedly upgrading, what features might shock people at launch, and why this could be the biggest Apple TV refresh in years. But here's the twist. Apple's upgrades aren't just about better picture quality. This time, Apple might be building something far bigger, something that could make every other streaming device feel outdated overnight. Let's start with the biggest question people are asking. Why does Apple even need a new Apple TV in 2026? Because the current Apple TV 4K has been around for a while. And yes, it's still fast, still smooth, still premium. But in 2026, fast isn't enough anymore. The living room is becoming the next battlefield, not just for streaming, but for gaming, AI assistance, smart home control, FaceTime on the big screen, and even the way your home devices connect together. Apple knows something most people don't realize yet. The TV isn't just a screen anymore. It's where your family spends hours every day. And if Apple controls that, Apple controls your digital lifestyle. Now let's talk about the leak that has the biggest potential to change everything, the upgraded chipset. Reports suggest Apple may finally push the Apple TV into a much higher performance tier, possibly jumping to something like an A17 Pro level chip. And if you're thinking, okay, so apps load faster. No, that's not the real story. The real story is what this kind of chip unlocks. We're talking console-level performance for Apple Arcade, more advanced graphics processing, smoother 4K playback with zero lag, and something that's about to become Apple's obsession for the next decade. AI features, Apple Intelligence, and Siri that's finally smart enough to feel like the future. Because right now, if we're being honest, Siri on Apple TV is fine. It works, but it doesn't feel magical. And Apple doesn't do fine when it's serious. Imagine this. You speak to Apple TV like you're speaking to an assistant that actually understands you. Not just play Stranger Things, but things like, show me the best action movies under 2 hours with high ratings. Or, find something the whole family will like, but nothing scary, and keep it under PG-13. Or even, start a playlist that feels like weekend vibes, and your Apple TV instantly builds a custom entertainment mood. That's where the real upgrade is going. It's exactly why Apple needs a far stronger chip inside. Apple TV is turning into a smart hub, not just a streaming box. And the next leak connects to this perfectly: Wi-Fi upgrades. Apple TV 4K 2026 is expected to come with improved wireless tech, potentially Wi-Fi 6E or even beyond. And most people underestimate how big this is, because the future of streaming is not just 4K. It's higher bitrate 4K, it's smoother HDR, it's instant loading, and eventually, it's 8K support readiness. Whether Apple enables 8K immediately or not. The point is Apple is preparing for the next era of home media. Your internet is only as good as your weakest device. When Apple TV gets faster wireless, everything becomes smoother. Less buffering, better stability, and more reliable streaming even when the whole house is using Wi-Fi. Now let's get into the feature people secretly want: better gaming. Right now, Apple Arcade feels fun, but not serious. The Apple TV 4K can handle games, but it hasn't felt like a true gaming machine. That could change in 2026. With a pro-level chip, Apple could position the Apple TV as the casual console you never knew you needed. And think about the strategy here. Apple already has Apple Arcade, already has controller support, already has developers building games for Apple platforms. All Apple needs is hardware powerful enough in the living room. And suddenly the Apple TV becomes a real competitor in a space nobody expected Apple to push. Not PlayStation level, but the perfect living room gaming hub for millions of people. Smooth graphics, faster loading, better frame rates, and maybe even new game experiences that connect with iPhone and iPad. The scary part? Ipul Jambu, all an entire ecosystem loop right inside your home. But the feature that could truly make people upgrade is something Apple has been hinting at for years. Apple TV as the smart home command center. See, Apple isn't just thinking entertainment. Apple is thinking home control. Your lights, your cameras, your locks, your thermostat, your sensors, and Apple TV becomes the control tower for everything. And with Matter and Thread becoming more common, Apple TV's role becomes even more important. Apple TV isn't just a device you watch Netflix on. It becomes the hub that keeps your whole smart home connected, stable, and secure. Now imagine this in real life. You're watching TV and a notification pops up showing your front door camera in real time. Or someone rings the doorbell and Apple TV immediately displays the live feed, and you can talk back using your voice. Or your Apple TV detects motion and automatically activates lights. Apple TV already has pieces of this, but 2026 could be when Apple completes the puzzle and turns Apple TV into the most premium smart home hub on the market. And since Apple's biggest strength is privacy and security, this is where they can win big. Because people trust Apple more than random cheap smart home hubs. Apple knows that, and they're going to use it. Now let's talk about the part people forget, tvOS. The Apple TV 4K 2026 isn't just hardware. It's the software upgrades that will change the experience. Apple's new tvOS direction is all about personalization, smoother multi-user experience, better profile switching, improved FaceTime experiences, and more immersive UI. Apple is trying to make the Apple TV feel like it's alive, like it knows who's watching and what they like without being creepy. Imagine turning on Apple TV and it instantly knows it's you, loads your favorite apps, your watch list, your music, your recommendations, your home layout, and even your smart home shortcuts. That doesn't sound like a streaming device anymore. That sounds like a personalized digital living room. And now we reach the most interesting possibility. Could Apple finally add a camera to Apple TV? This has been rumored, speculated, denied, and discussed for years. But 2026 is the year it starts making sense. Because FaceTime on Apple TV is becoming more important. Apple is pushing shared experiences, watching together, calling on the big screen, family communication. And yes, right now you can use your iPhone for FaceTime with Apple TV, but that's not seamless. If Apple wants Apple TV to become a real home hub, they may take FaceTime seriously and build it into the device or accessories. Even if it's not a built-in camera, Apple could offer a companion camera solution. And if that happens, Apple TV becomes something else entirely. Not just entertainment, but communication. Think about how powerful that is. Your family calls appear on your TV like a futuristic home portal. You can have video calls without holding your phone. You can join meetings. You can do long-distance family moments on a 65-inch screen. That's an emotional use case. And Apple loves emotional use cases because that's how you create loyal customers. Now here's the part most people won't see coming. Pricing strategy. Apple might do something surprising. There's a possibility Apple could try to make Apple TV more mainstream. Maybe even launching a cheaper model or a stick-style version in the future. Because Apple TV's biggest weakness is not quality. It's price. People compare it with $30 streaming devices and think Apple TV is overpriced. But Apple isn't selling cheap streaming. Apple is selling premium experiences. Still, Apple knows that the living room market is huge, and if they want dominance, they'll need reach. Apple might keep a premium Apple TV 4K 2026 and later introduce new versions to attract more buyers. And when Apple starts playing volume game, that's when competitors start panicking. So should you wait for Apple TV 4K 2026? If you're someone who cares about AI upgrades, faster performance, better gaming, future-proof wireless, and smart home power, then yes, waiting makes sense. Because this won't just be a slightly updated box. It could be the Apple TV that finally becomes the center of the home. The device that connects your entertainment, your smart home, your calls, your family time, and your Apple ecosystem in one place. And one more thing, Apple doesn't upgrade products randomly. When Apple it's this long to refresh something. It usually means they're preparing a bigger leap. Apple TV 4K 2026 could be that leap. A new chip, new wireless, better TV OS, smarter Siri, potential FaceTime expansion, stronger smart home role, and gaming performance that finally feels next level. The question is not whether Apple TV will be better. It will. The real question is, will this be the Apple TV that finally makes other streaming devices feel like toys? If the leaks are even half true, Apple TV 4K 2026 could become one of the most powerful living room devices ever made. Not because it streams Netflix, but because it becomes something bigger than streaming. The next generation of Apple TV might not just upgrade your TV. It might upgrade your entire home experience. And when Apple pulls that off, everyone else will be playing catch-up.